Hi, I'm Zine of the Sensual Revolution. Welcome to the third episode of Luscious Monday Motivation. This week we're speaking all about desire. So this week I'm going to be encouraging you and inspiring you to really get down to the bottom of the juiciness around what it is that you desire for yourself, for your life, and also discuss the challenges that come with wanting to make decisions around what it is that we desire. And so I encounter this quite frequently with clients and also within myself. I did a practice very recently where I wanted to look forward into what I desired for the way my work was going to evolve moving forward. And I encountered moments of fuzziness. It wasn't clear. And so hopefully in today's practice and in this week's exercise that you'll be doing, you'll find some clarity and really start to get to know that energy, that seed of desire that lies within you and that lies within all of us. So what happens when we encounter these challenges as we desire something? So we choose a desire. If I'm going to ask you right now, what is it that you really desire most for your life? It can be for your sexuality, it can be for your relationship, for your work, anything at all. So what is it that you desire most? And so often we come across this situation where we'll be sifting through ideas, and in some cases we'll think about something and be like, oh no, that's too materialistic, or that's perhaps, maybe I desire something like a pair of shoes and that's just, it's not eco-friendly enough. Or sometimes we encounter situations where I haven't worked hard enough to achieve that. I can't desire that yet. Or I'm not worthy of this. This is a huge one that lays underneath the surface, right? And I want to really encourage you to dig into those desires, even if you feel there's a layer that comes over, even if you acknowledge like, oh, there's shame there around something that I desire. And this is encountered frequently with things like sexual fantasies. And why is it so important to really dive into the core of those desires? Well, think about, what does desire feel like in your body? It's like a spark. It's like a spark and energy of life. And when we repress our desires, it's the equivalent of repressing an emotion. And so it starts to create a separation inside. And we really want to get to the truth of what it is that we're desiring. We want to bring those desires into consciousness, because it's from consciousness and awareness that we can actually work with it. So my invitation to you now is allow yourself to desire what you desire. And that's not always easy, right? When you go in and you think of something that you really want, there's so many layers that can come in the way to say, no, that's not a good idea. No, this is not a good idea. No, not yet. Or I'm fearful, or that's too scary, or that's just not possible. Osho stated that the energy of desire is like the energy of existence. And when we repress that spark, that energy within us, we're repressing a part of us that is really wanting to speak out. And let me just be very clear that having a desire is not the same as acting on that desire. It's simply acknowledging that desire. Sometimes there are desires of ours that are so grand that we have a layer of shame because perhaps it doesn't fit into society's norms or, what our surroundings are used to. And sometimes just removing that layer of shame and allowing that desire to actually come into play is perfectly fine, as long as everyone is consensual and is for the best of everyone involved, right? And then sometimes there are desires that don't align with our values, and we can further refine these desires to discover, what is it behind the desire that is really of importance to me? What is the meaning that can come from this desire? And I will ask you a couple of questions to help you refine desires. And in another situation, in one that does not align with our values, for example. So let's just say I am making a big effort at eating healthy, and I've really committed to this certain period of time where I'm changing my diet. And then there's a moment where I just feel like I want a big juicy piece of chocolate cake, right? This is a desire. And so I can repress it and be like, no, this is not what I'm doing. Or I could acknowledge that, oh wow, I'm really being curious with it, like I'm really wanting this piece of chocolate cake right now. So what's behind it? So what's going on with my big desire for chocolate cake? Aside from the physical desires because I'm changing my diet, is there something beyond that? And I can look and be understanding of this part of me that wants it. And if I see that, oh yeah, okay, so I worked really hard this week and I felt a little bit under acknowledged for it. And so I'm looking for something luscious to just almost give myself a gift, give myself something special. And so, okay, that's important information, right? I'm looking to seek, I'm looking to feel a little bit more validated. So is that something that I can give myself first and foremost in another way? And then make the decision from a conscious choice. But I didn't repress it, right? I acknowledge that I want that desire. And so the choice is made from a conscious, empowered place. I may eat the cake, I may not eat the cake, but when it's from a conscious place, it's no longer controlling you from the background like a puppet. It's done consciously. And now to refine your desires, you can ask further questions. So after answering the question, what is it you desire most? What do you really, really want? Follow up with the question, what would my life look like if I had this desire, if this desire came to fruition? How would I feel if this desire came to fruition? And you can really start to take apart that desire and look like, what is this about? What is this desire? If I want to own a beautiful home, does it mean that I'll feel like I've accomplished something? Is it this sense of spaciousness, of expansion for my body and my energy? There's so much beyond it. And you can really start to refine and refine and refine and get down to the truth of the why behind the desire. But if you repressed it, you'll never know that truth, right? You'll never actually connect with that part of you and what you're seeking. And so, so, so important to really allow our desires to bubble up and so that we can actually bring it into consciousness. And this is what I would love for you to work with this week is allow yourself to desire what you desire. Give yourself time, and it's so luscious to actually move through this exercise. It feels really, really good to become so aware of all these parts of us. And now I want to discuss a little part that has come up once in a while where there's a train of thought that believes that, we're aiming for becoming desireless because this is a state where we no longer need material things. We no longer get attached to certain elements of life. And this is absolutely an excellent state to strive for when it's truth. But how did you get to the state of being in this desireless state? You desired to get to that state, right? So aiming to become completely desireless is great and fantastic. But if that's not the truth, if there's still a whole lot of desire going on, then acknowledge those desires, be with those desires. It's by actually allowing those things to come up and to really give them that space and that awareness that we evolve to our next place, that we grow to our next expansion and our understanding of ourselves. So let it be what it is. I'm Zina Fontaine of The Sensual Revolution. Be sure to download my free audio training called Ignite Your Desire. It's in the link in my profile, Let's Get Sensual, if you're on Instagram, and it's below the video if you are on YouTube. I wish you a luscious, luscious week with your desires, and I will see you very soon.